DCarsonCPA on the MFC lines. Quick talk about relationships versus merit. I think relationships versus merit is it's an element relevant to starting businesses, to maintaining businesses. It's relevant to careers, to a lot of points. And I just wanted to link in. There was an article I read that was pretty good. It's in our links a little bit of a ways back. And in the process of establishing DCarsonCPA, we've read a heck of a lot of articles about the economy. So you have to forgive me if I don't know the exact quote, but I'm pretty sure it was from the Harvard Business Review. Looking back at the lines, what happens is that we're talking about what is the success relationship, or what is the composite of success. What are the key factors that drive your ability to accomplish things? And I'm not positive this was the exact, but for me this kind of works as a rough. So it's a rough estimate of what they'd said, and it's more scientific in their article, but I think this kind of covers it for me and what I want to share here. There's three factors that pretty much go into your success and being able to achieve a goal. I think 30% of it might be talent, the actual ability to study what you got, get what you need together. And there's someone gave me a really good quote today. I'm forgetting what it was, but so I won't be able to include it. But it was that something about studying the right amount, neither overstudying or understudying, but just hitting it right on the bell for the talent. And I think one thing that's true about the platform is we went long, deep, and wide on the research, because we felt that if we had research for any role, for anyone that came to us for any need, that it would be a good thing. We'd have essentially a radar to the economy. If someone comes to us, we can connect to it. Certainly has benefited myself in a lot of ways, because the ability to look across the lines of macro and micro financials, legal, technology, and other relevant points for cross-sector stakeholders, which in my world is industry, nonprofits, NGOs, government, and the individual family lines. It's certainly a good point, but I think there's also the right balance. And this was an important thing. It surprised me a little bit, because I think intuitively I thought, well, the lines of hitting your success, hitting your mark, would probably be, in my mind, about 70% talent. But in reality, it doesn't boil down that way. So don't beat yourself up if you got some stuff over here and things are not going in your right direction. It might be you just need to fix the mix. And a lot of times there's this formula, and it's a formula that's not shared. There's a lot of people that are successful, that are very generous, and they share their knowledge with you about ways to get places. And there's other people that live in a more cautious mode, where they take the secret of that, the formula, and sometimes you have to. They take that with them. So you've got to kind of rough it out, and you're going to have to find your way to your lines on rainmaking and growth. But we're here to help it and be a little bit easier, because with the background we put into research, there's a lot of ways where we can add insight, and potentially save a number of years on your cycle, or months, or whatever it may be. And when I look at this, and I think about over the course of a career, over the course of launching a business, over a course of a business that continues to grow, and on the cycle of human relationships, there's a lot of it is about relationships versus merit. So merit's the side where you want to stand on, I've got a strong educational background, I've got great credentials, I've spent my time, done the right things, I've got strong ethics and integrity, I'm here for the right reasons. And relationships could also encompass those things. Relationships can benefit certainly from merit. So if you have strong merit, you've got strong academic credentials, strong adherence to the principles of ethics, integrity, and compliance. And then you're working with relationships too. That's a nice cross combination. And then there's also this dividable component of those 2 points. When we're looking at a mix of what makes someone successful in relation to a business, or perhaps in a career, we're looking at here, I'm reflecting on that article, thinking 30% is talent, 30% is mechanics and economics. What I mean by that is it's not only the ability to know something, but it's the ability to execute. There's definitely a component, I don't know if this is the right exact percentage, but keep it in mind, you're trying to figure out what is the factor where you are in the business of mechanics and economics. And these two pieces break out as follows. Mechanics is the ability to not only know something over here, on that side of having that talent, but knowing how to execute. If you know how to execute, you may not be the best talent, you may not be the top of that line, but if you know how to put in the mechanics, if you know how to make the system work correctly, then what happens is you're a strong mechanist, and that's certainly a part of the success formula. Another part of the formula is economics, because everything works through a cycle of supply and demand. So the timing of your career, the talent you put into your career or your business, because it's relevant to that, it's overall relevant to careers and economics for financial entities, and consider yourself in Entity in this respect. This is just an accounting view. The economics of supply and demand. If you studied something and it was inaccurate to the purpose of the market, you're not going to find good economics, and so what will happen is you'll have a ton of supply, small amount of demand, very weak or no earnings, and that happened a lot to people. I'm sad to know how many young people have went to school over the years recently, studied up to do great things, but then found there was no supply and demand. In the beginning of your process, when you're dealing with relationships versus merit, I guess consider merit to be a cross-function of economics too, because what is the merit of your idea in a business, or what is the merit of your individual career path, or what is the merit of a direction you're taking? Part of that has to be economics and viability. So the merit is this a good path that we're going on economically speaking? So I like to put supply and demand in there in connection to that. Now the open piece that we're really here to talk about is 40% relationships. 40% relationships can be a big challenge, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times people in technical lines, like our lines, may be focused more on the process of building the hard skills, the talents, the mechanics, the economics, and that may leave open the relationships. I'm sure that my path was not an exception. My path was one where I put my nose to the grindstone. I thought about how to be the best that I could be on the lines, and that may not be everyone's focus, because a lot of people also understand you got to get out there and you got to get the word out. So speaking from a point of what I'm aware and things that can help your business, I've taken the knowledge of a weakness to be a strength, because if you look at that, 40% relationships. Who are the people that are the relationships? Start working them from the very beginning. If you're a student looking at this, you're in school, work on those relationships. Get into those great groups, talk about it, try to understand different people's points of view, leverage the knowledge of psychology, sociology, and how that plays in, because for your business, all those things are very relevant, and your success formula is going to have some 30% talent, 30% mechanics of the ability to execute talent, the right R&D put into action. Talent would also be R&D and development. And then economics of supply and demand, what's happening in your marketplace, is it viable, what's the time, can you get money, can you get capital? And then this relationship line is everything, because tell you what, there's plenty of hard and fast points that are written as benchmarks, but then there's working with people, and if you can build the right relationships with clients, with vendors, with other professionals, you can make these relationships into something that's really powerful for your business. So sometimes, because I think relationships is so critical to sales and rainmaking, I think that certain classes of professionals are underserved because they're drilled on the talent, the mechanics, and the economics, but the education cycle is deficient on relationships, sales, psychology, sociology. So if it was up to me, I'd say you have to spend a lot more time thinking about the sociology, the psychology, and the sales of the marketplace, because all those other things, even if they were at 90%, won't get you what you need with those relationships and sales. So please think about that in your business. Now, relationships work through your family, your friends, your professional networks, and people that are out there. And this can be a challenge, because we live in a complex world. We live in a world where people come from families. Families may be broken up and divided, or they may be your original family, but there can also be points where families are not all connected, or they're spread out, or that can be a challenge. Friends, for a lot of people, if you've got challenges on the family side, you'll build with friends and have a family of friends. But both family and friends can be your strong supporters, and I hope that on your initiative you have good families, good friends behind you, that as you pursue your initiative, whether it's education, whether it's growth to the marketplace, that you'll get their strong support in what you do. It could be a critical element, and maybe it's not the one that brings you the dollars in the door. You may be lucky and family friends come with a lot of money. That's certainly going to increase your odds of success. But there's something just about having that support that, from a moral standpoint, as you launch an effort, just knowing that family and friends are there with you, that they care about the effort, that they're behind you, is a very good and strong support. But if you don't have that and you really believe, I guess you've just got to take what you've got and push forward. But ideally, we wish you that. We want your relationships to be strong. Then it's your professional networks. The danger for many young professionals is they may have been very active in college. I guess if you're really active in college, you're probably going to know that that continues to be an active part of your life cycle, so you would not be as disengaged, although sometimes you could just launch a new career, do everything night and day. You might have some significantly long hours, and in so doing, you might forget how important that professional network piece is. But I want to tell you that professional network piece is a good bridge. Get out there, reach into people in your field, doing what you want to do. If I were you and I was beginning a cycle, I was beginning a career, or I was beginning to think about a business, I would want to think about relationships and merit, and think about, can people tell me how they sell this? Because I think one of the rarest skills, that formula, and the sooner you know that there's a success formula, the better it is to tap into professional networks and ask people, How did you do what you did? How did you get successful? How did you break through the morass of what it really takes to push and launch a business? There's a lot of up and downs. If you hit the cover off the ball straight out the gate, that's an amazing thing. I want you to have that experience, and we'd be happy to support you on that line. But we're also a strong support for anyone who's trying to find the way, because we've spent a lot of time looking at the ecosystem, and I think that's something that can save you a lot of time, to have an alignment to someone who's done deep research in economics, statistics, financials, and the overall economy and the pieces that fit together. We have a strong radar, and we can cut to any channel to help you look at things. It includes the psychology, the sociology, those business lines. And then get into mechanics and economics. Mechanics is execution. You have the knowledge. If you can't execute, you won't get there. But you can build execution. Execution is a process. You just have to study, what is it I want to do, what value do I want to bring to the marketplace, and break down in your business plan, what are the steps, and if you follow those steps well, you could develop some strong mechanics. Next up, you've got the economics. That's functional laws of supply and demand. Some knowledge and awareness of supply and demand, I would think, speaks well to knowing your opportunity on an educational or performance line. And at the end of the line, we have relationships. And relationships, I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's about the optimist, the pessimist, the faithful, and the faithless. And you've got to enlist the support of the people and the relationships to get your business going. And part of that is the challenge of communications. Those are our PRTC lines. So I'm Dean Carson. I wish you success and growth, and we're here to help you on the business.